On the news tonight, Nigerians express mixed reactions on the task ahead ministers designate. National Dialogue on Sustainable Democracy, stakeholders call for teamwork. And NSCDC parades suspected human trafficker in Ilorin. Good evening and welcome to NTA Ijebu News at 7. Thanks for joining us. I am Olawumi Adeniji. Here are the details. Nigeria's march towards achieving a sustainable democracy is a work in progress and should be supported by all stakeholders. This formed part of resolutions at a national dialogue on ways of ensuring sustainable democracy in Nigeria. Timothy Yusuf has more.
It's a dialogue among government, civil society groups and youth organizations with the theme, Our Democratic Stability. Discussion is on the state of the nation, focusing on leadership, national security, legislative and electoral reforms, and the economy.
What we are doing here recognizes that we are all Nigerians that want to ensure that our country is put in the right platform. This democracy has been in existence since 1999. We are about 24 years uninterrupted. How do we ensure that this democracy remains sustained, uninterrupted by any means?
Patriotism and national interest by citizens are identified as vital tools going forward.
We are praying that the steps that the government is taking on the petroleum sector, the subsidy question, will just create initial pain of the needle, but the ultimate cure for the economy and for your future will make you forgive all the pain of the present.
Participants emphasized that Nigeria's leadership role on the subcontinent should be supported by citizens, as democracy remains the best form of government. Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
In the meantime, Nigerians have been speaking on assignment of portfolios to ministers designated by President Bola Tinubu ahead of his cabinet members on Monday next week. Guest on NTA's flagship program, Good Morning Nigeria, says the ministers designates are coming to office at a time when expectations of Nigerians are high and the challenges to tackle are enormous. Lydia Sampson completes the report.
The task ahead of the new cabinet members, the guests agree, is enormous. They are of the view that unbundling some of the ministries and creation of new ones is expected to increase more efficiency and enable the government to implement its policies.
Beyond the oversight of the National Assembly, government should have a monitoring and evaluation unit that will begin to assess these ministers using certain parameters, using templates that determines deliverables, that determines outcomes.
What Nigerians want at this stage is an efficient, transparent, and accountable government. And that is what we desperately need. And then, so the ministers are coming in with huge expectation, and with the prevailing circumstances.
They also submitted that while ministers come with experiences and competencies, the ministers should be given targets and be monitored to ensure they work with the mandates of their ministries and the renewed hope agenda of the Tinubu government.
It's a holistic framework. The ministers alone cannot do that. The ministers are going to be in ministries where civil servants, public servants are all going to have their hands on the deck. And let me tell you, look at all the past development plans of this nation. If you find out why they didn't work, you are going to see the issue about an inefficient bureaucracy and public service or civil service. So they have their part to contribute.
According to them, the new ministers must avoid the syndrome of democracy devoid of dividends by being focused on serving the country rather than engaging in self-aggrandizement. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
The Committee of Retired Inspectors General of Police, National Security Advisor, and the Chairman of Police Service Commission are in Ibadan, Oyo State Capital, on a 2-day retreat. A statement by the Police Service Commission notes that several topical papers on the state of police preparedness towards restoring Internal Security Architecture of Nigeria is the focus, with the theme Intervention of Ex-Inspectors General of Police for Strategic Contribution to Effective Policing in Nigeria. The retreat is also an opportunity to discuss and share experience. Meanwhile, the Acting Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, recently directed all the police commands across the country to establish complaints response units in their respective commands to checkmate excesses and improper behavior of police personnel. Aisha Abubakar Yahaya finds out the level of compliance with this directive in Kwara State and the views of residents in Ilorin.
The Compliance Response Unit ordered by the Acting Inspector General of Police to be established in all commands across the country is to, among other things, a checkmate improper behavior of police officers, especially when it involves police brutality. The order came in response to the series of complaints and outcry from members of the public against high-handedness, extortion, and inappropriate behaviors by police personnel across different parts of the country. This decision, according to residents of Ilorin, is a welcome development if the Nigerian police can adhere strictly to guidelines of the Complaints Response Unit.
The terms of engagement need to be properly spelled out so that they will not maybe cross their boundaries, they will not outstep their bounds.
The Kwara State Police Command is on top of it already as the unit is set to begin work.
We are undergoing a training. Materials to be used in the office is already on ground. The office is already on ground. So the men are going to do the last lab, which is the training, before we start seeing them. But what it is, even this, as of now, if there is a complaint, we are going to deal with the complaint.
The unit will be tasked with the crucial responsibility of overseeing and investigating complaints against police officers and also ensuring that any misconduct or abuse of power is thoroughly addressed and reported to the IGP for immediate sanctions. Aisha Abubakar Yahaya, NTA News.
Still on crime. The Kwara State Command of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC, has arrested a brothel owner, Iyabo Abdurrafil, for alleged trafficking in persons and using underage girls for prostitutions. Abdurrafil's alias covered the parade of the suspects at NSCDC headquarters in Ilorin. His report is hereby presented.
Iyabo Abdurrafil and the manager of a brothel in Okolowo area of Ilorin were arrested for camping underage girls and using them for sex hawking. Their arrest and those of 5 other underage sex workers, according to the NSCDC PRO, Olasunkanmi Ayeni, was sequel to a complaint from the 16-year-old Ogechukwu Haro, who was lured from Anambra State to Ilorin by an area sister. Contrary to the promise of a housemaid job that would earn her about 50,000 naira per month, Ogechukwu was forced into prostitution and made to sleep with 5 to 17 men every day before escaping from the facility.
It's not what he told me for our side that I see. Now show work where he bring me. He used to give me 20 condoms. Inside that 20 condoms, sometimes I sleep with 10 men, 15, 17.
Over time, we've had so much of crime in Okolowo, and Commandant Umar Jeji Mohammed, who has been ordered by the CG to fish out these criminals from Kwara, has been focusing Okolowo, and he will not take anything for granted.
However, the suspect denied the allegation on the ground that Ogechukwu claimed to be of age and voluntarily joined the business.
She claimed to be 21 and the mother of one. That was why I thought she's matured.
He told me she's 19 and that the person that sent her to Ilorin already informed her that she's coming to prostitute.
There is a need for the society itself to ensure that our children are well taken care of and to educate them at schools and most of these public places on the implications of such acts.
The NSCDC, after proper profiling, will hand over the suspect to NAPTIP for diligent prosecution.
Political participants in the Kogi governorship election have been urged to engage in the game of politics according to the rules, avoiding violent tendencies in order to ensure a credible election. This message was highlighted during the promotion ceremony of several police officers at the police command headquarters in Lokoja. Solomon Ayeden reports.
Against the backdrop of the upcoming Kogi State governorship election, the State Resident Electoral Commissioner, Gabriel Hali Longpet, and the Commissioner of Police, Kogi State, Onoha Bertrand, have reiterated their commitment to providing an equal and level playing field for all political parties and their candidates.
We are going to be fair to everybody and do our job as professionals.
At the moment, we are sensitizing the public with respect to the process of election. Very soon, we'll be telling people that we are going to resume the distribution of PVCs.
They have appealed to political actors in the state to respect each other and play the game according to the rules.
With respect to the actions of political opponents or political actors in Kogi State, I will appeal to them. Your campaign and rallies should be based on issues.
As for the election, the command is fully prepared. We are urging all the stakeholders to play to the rules. By doing that, our job will be reduced.
During the event, a total of 168 police inspectors were promoted to the rank of Assistant Superintendent of Police, ASP, and 153 ASP2 officers were elevated to the rank of ASP1. They were decorated with their new ranks.
The IG said I should extend to them the advice of being professional in whatever they do.
Very, very happy to be among people promoted.
We are going to try our best to see that we make things right.
We thank the Inspector General of Police for this promotion.
These officers are expected to rededicate themselves to their service in order to justify the confidence placed in them by the Inspector General of Police. In Lokoja, Solomon Ayedehi, NTA News.
Meanwhile, members of the Nigeria Union of Journalists, Kogi State Council, have been advised to uphold professionalism in their reporting and refrain from engaging in politics to ensure electoral process within the state. Solomon Ayedehin reports that this was emphasized during the union's 2023 press week in Lokoja.
The week-long 2023 Kogi NUJ Press Week, culminating in the grand finale in Lokoja, was filled with enlightenment, camaraderie, and the sharing of aspirations and testimonies that underscored the unwavering professionalism defining journalism in Kogi State. The event brought together prominent government officials and professionals from the field, including Chris Izeguzo, the national president of NUJ. Governor Yahaya Bello's representation was led by Kingsley Femi Fanwo, the Commissioner for Information and Communication. The Kogi NUJ chairman, Adeza Momo Jimo, characterized the event as the final one during his administration's tenure. He lauded council members for embracing peace throughout his 6-year term and encouraged them to maintain this momentum in the future.
Today, I'm happy and proud to say that by the time we are leaving the leadership of the council, the next administration will be inheriting a peaceful, united, stable, and rich NUJ council of sacrifice, prestige, and dignity from us.
The highlight of the occasion was the launch of the book titled Media Development in Kogi State, 1991 to 2023 by Governor Yahaya Bello. The book was reviewed by Mohammed Bello, former zonal director of Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria, Ibadan.
We want to urge journalists to uphold the principles of professionalism and also ensure that the 2023 governorship election is peaceful.
We must ensure that in our reportage, we promote the collective aspirations of the people of Kogi State.
Awards of excellence were also conferred on 6 individuals from the state, recognized for their immense contributions to media development in both Kogi State and Nigeria. The Kogi NUJ Press Week is celebrated annually in Lokoja. Solomon Ayedehi, NTA News.
We are going on a short break now. The news continues after this message.
The words are hard to find, but they're still heavy on my mind tonight. The pain is feels deep inside, but I still want to hide tonight.
Is this what you really want to do?
Yes, Dad. That's what I've been trying to show you.
Fight for your dreams the advanced way with Glow LTE Advanced. The power of 3 data networks in one. Get a Glow SIM or dial *301#.
Buhari House, National Secretariat of the All Progressive Congress, has continued to host party members in solidarity with the new leadership of the party. National Chairman Abdullahi Umar Ganduje reaffirmed that APC under his leadership will sustain its efforts in managing national diversity. Saliu Gwanara reports.
The influx of party faithful is an indication of their collective will to actively add value to the desired transformation of the party to make it a viable progressive political institution and as a front-runner of the renewed hope agenda. Niger State Governor Mohamed Bago, Forum of APC National Assembly Legislators, Southwest Agenda for Asiwaju Swaga were among the latest visitors.
This is a man that we trust and we believe in the capacity to give this country a good government. We have the interest of the party at heart. So we are offering ourselves for any party assignments.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, when he was governor of Lagos State, he used national diversity to move Lagos forward, and he's translated that to Nigeria.
Discuss issues in the front burner, especially the issue of security and the issue of the removal of subsidy. These issues have become very tough for the people.
Similarly, the Confederation of APC support groups has commenced engagement with stakeholders to cushion the effect of fuel subsidy removal.
We have skills acquisition coming up, so we have started. And by the grace of God, all our campaign promises will be fulfilled.
The group appealed for calm as governments commence the implementation of palliatives in Abuja. Saliu Gwanara, NTA News.
The National Economic Council has come up with more resolutions to cushion the effects of fuel subsidy removal and address the effects of flood disasters facing the country. State House correspondent Abdurrahman Jibrila reports on this and other issues discussed at the meeting.
The National Economic Council is putting measures in place to cushion the effect of increasing cost of food and transportation, among other social needs. Part of resolutions at the meeting, chaired by Vice President Kashim Shettima, was the approval of 5 billion naira to each state to cushion the effect of fuel subsidy removal. Another intervention is the allocation of 5 trucks of rice to each state as palliative, including the FCT.
This funding has to be shared with a formula as follows. 52% of this money is given to states as grants, while 48% of the 5 billion naira is to be paid back on an installment basis within a period of 2 years, 20 months to the CBN by the states and the local government areas in Nigeria.
The Council commended the Nigeria Economic Summit Group on development of pragmatic roadmaps to tackle the current economic challenges. And we also ask that the roadmap be revised and aligned with the existing agenda of the current administration.
The National Economic Council has today received the preliminary assessment of impact of flood disaster of 2022 with reference to 128th session of the NEC meeting, which directs states to submit their design and template on how to address the flood disaster. 16 states have so far submitted their reports, while 15 states are yet to respond to the request, and the Council has then given additional time for submission.
The plight of the victims of the unfortunate flood disaster across affected states of the Federation could be alleviated if the much needed intervention from the federal government materialized without further delay. There is therefore the need to expedite the release of funds to affected states as recommended by the designated committee constituted by the federal government to that effect.
To address the needs of the people affected, the Council has set up a committee to visit all the affected states.
Next Secretariat and officials of the Office of the Vice President is mandated to visit the affected state for the on-the-spot assessment of the situation on ground. The exercise would authenticate the data submitted by the states to determine their needs and possible intervention.
A committee has also been constituted under the chairmanship of the Anambra State Governor, Professor Charles Soludo, to dialogue with labor unions on the ongoing issue of fuel subsidy removal.
The NEC is calling on Nigerians and indeed labor to become law-abiding, as the President is determined to address the issues at hand.
The Council also observed a minute's silence for the repose of souls of military officers that lost their lives in Niger State. From the State House, Abdurrahman Jibrila, NTA News.
The former Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Farouk Yahya, says promoting the welfare of officers and soldiers is critical to success in military command and control centers in the front line. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa reports that the former Army Chief says this during the public presentation of a book on welfare, command, and capacity building.
The book, Warfare, Command and Capacity Building in Nigeria, highlights critical values and attributes required for effective military command and control in enhancing combat in the front line. It also projects some unique leadership style of the former commandant of the Nigerian Defense Academy, Kaduna, Major General Manu Yusuf.
To look at those ingredients that assist someone to achieve success in command as enumerated, welfare is one of them. Soldier marches on his stomach. You have to show you care about them, then they can give their best. Capacity building is about training. You can't give what you don't have. So you have to give the people capacity for them to be well taken care of, for them to achieve results.
We also expect that more of this kind of intellectual work, scholarly work, will be done on other areas of the armed forces of Nigeria and the military generally in the world, because there are scarcity of materials on this area, and the people who can do this better job are the scholars, the intellectuals, the academics. They mentored me.
The former commandant NDA, who grew through the ranks traversing different theaters of operations, noted that the book provides guide to junior personnel.
We are beginning to see the exploits that the young officers that just left NDA barely 1 year ago, we are getting the feedback of their exploits in the field.
In view of the dynamic and complex nature of the nation's security environment, guests at the event enjoined serving military officers to emulate unique qualities of accomplished retired generals. From the Nigerian Army Resource Center in Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
From the world of sports, let's join Olumide Eguntola for trending stories.
Reactions continue to trail Toby Amusan's eligibility to compete at the World Athletics Championship scheduled to commence this weekend in Budapest, after it was widely reported by the media that the world champion has been cleared of doping offense, as indicated in a press statement associated with the Athletics Integrity Unit. The decision of a panel of disciplinary tribunal cleared Toby.
From outstanding performances in recent months, it's kind of surprised that people are just finding a way to just tarnish her image.
Assuming that he has missed any of the tests, the period to go and do the test, they could have thought that he actually evaded such a test. So I want to say congratulations to her, and I want Nigerians to keep calm.
We had our doubts whether she was going to be cleared and all that, but we are very excited, that she has finally been cleared.
In volleyball, Nigeria lost to host Cameroon 0-3 at 16-25, 13-25, and 18-25 in her second match at the ongoing 2023 African Senior Women's Nations Volleyball Championship in Yaoundé.
The team showed the depth in them that they have what it takes to become a world champion, to become an African champion with the kind of performance they put up against Cameroon today. We are not beaten by Cameroon. It's just quite unfortunate that we lost to the better team.
The team's next match is against Burundi. In the English Premier League, it is match day 2 across designated stadia this weekend, as club sides are set to correct the flaws noticed in the league opening matches. Manchester City will hope to continue its winning runs against Newcastle United with Erling Haaland on fire. Manchester United will play away to Tottenham with a different approach to avoid defeat. Fulham takes on Brentford, as Liverpool will lock arms with Bournemouth, among other matches. With sports updates, Olumide Guntola, NTA News.
We end today's news. Do join us tomorrow for a fresh package. From me, it is good night.